All right, I would say it's about time to get started on this project. So that's what we're gonna do right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rossi Oliver Man. This here is a WD Allis Chalmers that I fixed up and gave to Dad several years back, and it has a overheating issue. So we're gonna pull the head off and send it to the shop so that our machine friend can hopefully find something wrong with it and we can fix this problem once and for all. So they're not really, I don't know, it's not an easy setup to get loose. We should probably take the muffler loose. Since this is a new muffler, it will probably come loose. I'm not exactly sure that I remember how that works, to be honest with you. I think it just sticks in there and then this. Maybe we'll just take the ting-ting off and lift the hood over it. That might be the easier way, because I can't remember exactly. I know taking these two things loose loosens that clamp. And there is a sideways bolt in there, but the ting-ting got destroyed anyway, so it needs to come off. So if I take it off now, we can just lift the hood up over it. And then we need to figure out how everything goes, because it's been a long time, and I don't remember what comes loose where. But I know we got to take bolts loose around the front, and then there's these fuel tank bolts, which are just a pleasure. And I'm going to have to get a longer screwdriver. The shorty isn't long enough to get in there. So yeah, once again, not coming prepared for anything. And having had this all totally disassembled at one time, it should come apart right. I guess these are all through bolts, aren't they? Maybe the top two aren't. Boys, I just don't remember. I do not work on these every day. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Luckily, it has this built-in surface to store all your fasteners, because they must have known you would be servicing it. Probably would be nice if I also held the camera on actually what's happening. But that's fine. You should be used to my crappy camera work by now. Why did I use these screw-headed bolts? I have no idea. I do not remember. Probably would have been a lot easier to use hex-headed bolts, wouldn't it? Cow is sounding off in the distance, and I see calves running, playing. That's very nice. Come on. Oh, okay, I remember this now. I got the muffler off. It was just a matter of taking this clamp loose, and this clamps it to that upright brace. Once again, I probably should have had you in the action so you could see what was happening, but got all that loose. 2 more bolts, and then the back 2 fuel tank strap things, and we should be able to get this hood off of here. So you might be asking yourself, why WD? And the answer is simple. My great-grandpa had one of these, and my dad was around it when he was little. And he always wanted one, so here it is. They actually had a WC unstyled, and then traded it and got a WD because they had a sweet corn picker. Allis Chalmers made those, what is it, like a 333 picker, and you could swap out stuff and make it where it would pick sweet corn. And they raised a lot of sweet corn for a local cannery. And so that picker was the way to go. And then eventually, the place decided that it was going to pick its own, so you didn't have to pick it yourself anymore. So then, I don't know what exactly happened. Grandpa ended up with this tractor, I think, and traded it for that 2020 John Deere. So, and this particular tractor, I do not know the history of where it came from, other than the guy that I got it from. He might know where it came from originally, because this came from Mama Bear's Homestead and More. Back before the YouTube days, he worked at the place that I worked at, and he had started to restore this and took it apart, and it sat outside there for months. And finally, after asking him again and again, he finally agreed to sell it. So I fixed it up for Dad, and then Dad's never really got to play with it much. So we're gonna try to fix that. This one's gonna be too big now. I won't go in there probably. In other words, the turning part, see? It takes a very particular screwdriver that doesn't have too wide of hips, because you got to be able to go, yeah. Let's try this one. And unlike the green tractors, I'm pretty sure we need to just take this all the way off, because I don't think that we can just slide it back. And we might be able to, but it would just be so much easier to just take her totally loose. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, there we go. One. We just need to take one loose. Check out that fancy bolt. All right. Here we are in the heart of it. Our next move, well, what should our next move be? Probably take the carburetor off, because we're going to service it anyway. It obviously needs much repair, you know. And then we'll try to get this manifold loose. I thought sure I had the manifold off of here, but some of these bolts look pretty nasty, don't they? So we just gotta do it. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's no, we could sit here and debate about it all day, but it's gotta happen. We'll take this thing inside and tear it apart and see how bad it is and run it through that cleaner, because this thing obviously has a bad float or something, or the float's gotten stuck. But one way or the other, it's got to come out. Another thing I noticed, I bet I did not have this manifold off, because some of those gaskets look horrendous. So hopefully we don't end up in a having to replace the manifold type of situation, because I don't want to have to do that. Now, what is this? Apparently we were desperate last time we had the carburetor off. We have some type of what do we have here? There. We might as well follow suit and take these loose. I think they're all 9/16, so. Okay, well, somewhere or another, and I don't remember where it was, but I do not have my ratchet or 9/16 socket that belongs in that toolbox. And that is not a good thing. Because, yeah, I do not like that I do not have that. So we're going to have to track that down again. What project would we have used that on last in recent times? I don't think we would have used it on the grain bin, or it would have been out, it would have been in this thing. I don't know if it would have been, what else could we have done with it that this would have been handier. Oh, I know where it is. It's probably on that Jubilee Ford, I betcha. So we might run and get that here in a minute. Oh, she's a squirter. That's probably not YouTube appropriate, but that is a wet hole. And not in a good way. I forgot about that. On some of these things, even the Olivers are that way, like the 310, like some of them have wet through holes on the manifold studs. So, I guess the time is now as far as draining it as well. So I need to go get a bucket, which I should have right around the corner here. Thanks to my cousin with the John Deere combines. I was over there the other day and he gave me a whole slew of buckets. So I suppose now is the time. We'll drain the radiator. I'll track down my ratchet. That'll make shorter work of this. And then we'll make some more progress. All right. Now, the next question is, will they go? I put these in brand new, I'm sure. However, sometimes they plug up, you know. And that's what this one apparently has done. So we're gonna have to get a piece of something. Let's see if this will do it. I don't know. Nope. Okay. It's always something. Here's a stick. Will that go in there? There we go. Oh no! Oh, the irony there. I broke off the stick in there. I tell you, when you're trying to get something done, well, I've made a mess of it, haven't I? At this point, I think I'm just going to have to take the drain out. What a dum-dum. Okay, now. Yeah. Amazing what happens when you don't do something stupid. I wedged her full, that's what I did. Don't ever use a stick. I just spent a good while digging the stick out of here that I broke off in there. All because I was a dum-dum. So, don't do that thing. We need to put tape on that before we put her back together, because that ain't gonna go now. It's always something. Now that we're good and soaked. I knew it. I knew that stuff wouldn't happen. There's a washer. Ooh, we might ought to get us a better one than them. She don't have long for this world. And that one ain't gonna go. That's a different size. That one twisted off. at least it twisted all out where we can get to it and not in the block. But still, I mean, it didn't have to do that. Now I got one stuck in here. Well, what are we going to do about that one? That one is not going to play nice. That ain't going to do it. Possibly a metric one would do it. If I tried, let me see what I got. Okay, let's see if this will go on there. Will that go? That's loose. That one, I think, will. With a little persuading. You know what that means? That. It will never come off of there now, but it's lived a good life. Okay, it's going to come out of the block. That's fine. Should have probably got the ratchet instead of this breaker bar. But I didn't. I thought I'd like to break things. It's a breaker bar. There. We'll get it. Yeah, so this is going to need a lot of attention, see? We'll get her loose in a minute. Yeah, look at these very bad gaskets. Non-existent even. I sure thought that I had those out of there, but she sure looks like I didn't, doesn't it? Probably whilst we're thinking about it, it would be a good time to take these out the rest of the way. Hopefully they come out. That one's got to now, because the head guy will want these all out. All right. Let's see what type of sadness befalls us here. A lot, probably. Maybe I ought to let him get these out of there. That's not tight enough. Let's do that one that way. Do this one this way. There. Sometimes two is better than one. Nothing to see here. Nope, she twisted off. Yep. I should have known. I think I'll just let the head shop guy get that out. He's done more than me in his lifetime. It's coming on. I don't like it when I twist stuff off, but what's a guy do? This happens. Oh, sure. All right. Where do we stand? Well, pretty pathetically is where we stand. We could take off. Let's take it off back here, if possible. Take this one off. Thinking of just taking that whole housing as one. Not disturbing the thermostat. It is new. However, maybe it needs to be, maybe it needs attention. I don't know. I don't remember. Are these 7/8? Probably. No, they aren't. Okay. We should have probably formulated a better plan than what we have so far, because I don't really have one as far as what to do with all the stuff. See, that's come on. Ah, let that get in there for a minute. Won't for long before it'll get trapped, but like maybe 1/2 a turn. That may be all we need, though. Come on. Okay, come on. Silly me, assuming that I would get that piece of rubber to come off of there nicely. I tell you. Come on, rubber. Let's destroy it all. So we have to do it again. That's what's happening here, see? Yeah, we've ruined this piece of hose, so now it doesn't really matter what takes place. It's just wanting to play a game of that was a very good quality hose if I could cut it with a screwdriver. Come on. You ought to be good enough now to come off of there. There. Ew. Schmutz. Okay, what now? I think before we put this back together, I'm going to saw those threads off of that, because that just seems, yeah. Where should we go next? Probably the old valve cover. Probably go get our wrench off of the ground. That's fine. I was tired of standing on that side anyway. I might as well stand over here for a while. One thing led to another here, see, and now I'm distracted. There is an oil line that we'll have to take loose. Let's move you. Let's get you a better view too. So there's an oil line in the side of the head we got to take loose here in a minute. But not until, you know, I've made a total mess of everything. Okay, past me. Why did you do the things that you did? Because it seems like you made more of a mess than necessary. Probably because you didn't have the stuff you usually use. You just made do. with whatever you found laying around handy. This can go away. The other bad deal is the tractor has no floorboard to speak of up front. There's no flat surface you can lay stuff on, is what I'm getting at. And I miss that, you know. I like being able to lay stuff on things. Come on. Oh, of course, I would be right in the way too, where a guy couldn't twirl his wrench around. As far as valve covers go, that's as good as any. Just looking at everything here, taking it all in. I need a 7/16 to get those two loose. I might as well do that first or I'll forget and end up bending one. So let me go grab that right over here. Come on. Am I turning the whole fit? Oh, darn. The damage is done now though, probably. That's not what I wanted. Can this go or not? Probably not, because I want it to. Probably also, if I would pay attention to what I'm doing, and have the two things on the actual, there. We'll go ahead and take it all the way out, so that we don't lose it. Because I have a feeling I'll need to make sure that's good. Then, to follow suit, take the one loose here. There we go. Can you still see what I'm doing? I don't know. Okay, that's loose, so that will come off, even though I guess we could take it loose down here. Take it totally off so we don't crunch it, because I don't want to have to make up another line. Now I think we're free. We can take some of these maybe loose. Or not. Did that one tighten back up now because of that? Should have. If you did this every day, you'd know exactly what to do. You get that way when you've worked on the same thing again and again. I remember the guy I worked for, that was, his dad started the dealership and the son was the head mechanic. He said when he was a kid, I don't know how old, probably 7th, 8th grade, high school just starting maybe, probably 7th, 8th grade. he said he got his start in the shop by one of the old mechanics said there was a WD. He said, okay, take it apart. And the kid said, well, I don't know, how am I going to remember wherever? He said, don't worry about that. He said, I know where every piece of that thing goes. So he said, you take it apart. And he said, if you get into trouble, I'll help you put her back together. So that was how he learned how to work on the orange ones. So, and it's true, when you do the same ones enough and enough, you pretty well know where all the pieces go, even if they're all laid out on the table. So, but then when you work on other stuff of other colors, like me on this, there's things I forget because I have not done them very much, especially WDs. Now the later ones, like 301 motors and, you know, 190s, 200s, seemed like we worked on a lot of those, and the 7000 series, I've worked on a bunch of them. But the old oldies like this, that's kind of before my time, and probably basically before their time too, because their heyday was in the 60s and 70s. The D series and newer up until the end. But the 301 motor, that, man, they used that in everything. Combines and the whole shebang. And basically this motor's the same as what's in like a D17, I think, with some minor differences in the block and stuff later on. But basically a D17 is just a glorified WD-45, so a lot of the same principles apply. We're gonna run out of battery, so I'm gonna shut you off and then we'll bring you back when I got the head off. All right, I think we're ready for the big reveal. There's a bunch of 1/2-inch head bolts and then 3/8 head bolts you gotta take loose. But while I was working, I noticed something, and I noticed it the other day when editing, and I thought I didn't see that right, but Freddie's headlight is busted out. So I don't know what gives there, if that's because of temperature changes and me grinding on that stuff, if it busted, or if I slinged into it with something one time getting on that and didn't pay attention, but that's kind of sad. So we'll be grinding us a new headlight at some point. Now, I got to try to figure out how to lift this thing off of here. Oh, what fun. Come on. There. Ooh. Well, friends, I don't see there's a spot there. Potentially something bad happened, but that could have pulled off coming off of here. I don't see necessarily a blown out spot on the head gasket. I see a spider. How's that been living in there? Jeez. Nasty, rusty stuff. That could also have been some of that sealer that was like a last minute effort there. So we'll have to clean that up and make sure that's all okay. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I mean, preliminary looking, I don't see any horrible fissures, aka cracking. But who's to say what the issue is? This could be cracked inside against like a valve or something, and that could be the problem. So I'm going to take this to my person, and he's going to check it over, and he's going to get it to go, and then we will put this back together, and hopefully she will run and not get hot, and then he can use it for like raking hay and such. And then if I get into a problem over there and I need to ride back home, I could use it. So, yeah. We're going to clean this up. I'll probably just cover this up today. And then we'll clean it up before we're ready to put it back together so we don't have to do it twice. But I think we're going to call this one here. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or, if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.